Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out. Something we haven't done for a long, long time is a mailbag episode, mainly because we have the Discord server and people are always jumping in, asking questions. But I did go into our Discord server, which you, dear listener, can join for free. Link in the show notes. Go in there. There's Critical Hit channel. Patrons get an additional channel for extra secret, sneaky stuff. But we've got a bunch of questions that have come in, and we're going to see how many of them we can get through this week. So the first couple of ones, Rodrigo, I think are specifically for you because they're asking specifically Lancer questions. Sure. Voldrag asks, I haven't read any of the books for Lancer. Is there any particular reason why 3 players chose the same base frame, even with them being 3 different builds?
So first off, 4 players.
4 players,
with the same base frame. Really, only Brian has a different one. And that's because in the game, without any supplements, there's only one starting mech. Everybody starts with the same mech. Eventually, they added 2 more. So Brian, who has actually sat down to read this stuff, was like, hey, can I bring this one in? And I was like, sure. So the reason why Lancer does that is to kind of ease you into the game, so that you don't have, when everybody has the same frame traits, it's easier to then focus on your talents and the equipment that you start getting in as you level up. So, and also the GMS systems, which are going to be important throughout. It kind of just makes for an easier start for everybody. And then when you get your mech, your new mech frame later, you can compare and contrast and then go from there. But hopefully you'll already have a base after playing for 2 missions with the Everest.
Very good. And you'll see in an upcoming or maybe a past episode, depending on when I release this, some of the new frames getting unlocked, at least. So Janice or Jan Hughes says, I have some Moon Generation questions that may be revealed in the future or might be in the Patreon materials. So if they're not answered, that's fine, but I thought I'd ask. Is the use of Europa in the cover art significant or just a cool moon?
Just a cool moon. That was an image in Creative Commons. And even if it wasn't, I've altered it enough.
Yes. All of these, attempt no landing here, if you know that phrase, you know what that means.
It's full of stars.
Yep. Question 2. What is the meaning of generation that is used in the title, Moon Generation? Is it A, Generation X, or B, income generation, or C, both?
It is, if by income generation you mean
producing,
then yes, both. And also it's a reference to the fact that the moon has been terraformed. So, is generating something on the moon. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything and possibly more meanings, because generation is a pretty meaning-rich word that we'll see later.
Yeah. And then finally, what makes the Magellanic Authority Magellanic? I assume it has something to do with the Magellanic Cloud.
Incorrect, but that's a good that's a very good guess. Now, what makes the Magellanic Authority Magellanic is that they are some flavor of fascists, but instead of recalling an ancient time where everybody was the same religion and were happy or whatever, or past warrior glory, they're hearkening back to the first colonists that first colonized the planet, right? And they're saying we're the ones that were descended from the navigators, and then from there making that jump to ancient navigators like Magellan. This is all made up. They basically made up ethnic groups based on that nonsense. And yeah, it's just their own way of saying, do something for infants on that makes it excellent again.
Okay. Another question. I think this is probably for Brian and Rob. I know it's early on the playtime for Lancer, but what are your opinions of the system? Rob, what is your opinion of Lancer?
Oh, I love this system. It tickles every little thing I enjoy in RPGs, especially on the tactical front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the tactical side too. That's probably my favorite part. I think that's it. Certainly CompCon, and you'll hear Rodrigo talk about this in one of the episodes. It's not a perfect system, but man, it sure makes managing your character so much easier. And I wish there were more free things like that for other systems where you weren't paying an arm and a leg to have access to, your character sheet or the
sheet
data
creator,
information. Yeah. Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I feel like it does really kind of hit a good sweet spot on what I like in the amount of crunch versus, not having too much rules complexity. The fact that like all the rules bits kind of have come in groups of 3, 3 license levels or 3 ranks in every talent. Means you don't have to go like get too deep on like your weird feat trees like you might get in Pathfinder or whatnot. So
yeah. All right, cool.
I like it.
Lagna says, "How are you liking playing on a hex map?" Haven't we used hex maps before? Maybe not. I don't really have a problem with hex maps.
No, I really like
them before. Sorry, Brian, what'd you say?
I like hex maps. I just find them a lot easier to deal with, like, diagonals and whatnot, not having to be an issue. And
yeah,
like it can make like, depending on which way you have your, map aligned and where you're moving, it can make like, running over here in a straight line kind of weird because you have to do a little zigzag thing. But yeah, it's
yeah, for the most part though, it's not that big of a deal.
No, it's not. It's not a problem.
What is Rodrigo's process when making a map like that?
My process for making the maps for Lancer is I go into a blank space on Roll20 and I basically build it out of like these like individual hexes that I have, right? So I don't mean like I put every hex. It's like the ground is just whatever the base color is. And then I build obstacles and difficult terrain and stuff like that just by placing individual hexes. I know a lot of people use maps that people have put online. I don't normally do that because I like to have that control to be able to, look at the map and be like, actually, I need this section to be harder or more exposed, or like to have some, or there's not enough cover in this map, or whatever, right? So, I just go in and make them hex by hex.
Yeah, and I'm curious, and this will be something that'll be answered further on down the road. As our mechs grow in size, do you anticipate the maps growing in size too, or kind of staying the same size that they are now? Because the maps that we have now are pretty big.
Yeah, Lancer really wants big maps. If for no other reason that the starting mech is extremely fast, so otherwise you'd be able to go from one corner of the map to the other in one turn. The maps aren't going to get bigger as mechs get bigger, and also, assuming that people stick to their projected mechs, the mechs aren't going to get bigger. In fact, some of the mechs are going to get smaller.
Man, I wanted a size 3 mech just tromping around, stomping on entire cities.
You had the chance. You made your choice.
I know.
Tried one in the past. They can be a little. They can be challenging.
It's tough.
I was banking on Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didymus says, "What is the favorite series or favorite mech that inspired the current choice for their characters?" Brian, let's start with you.
I don't watch a lot of mech or
not into the macros or the
or the BattleTech or the.
So yeah, I guess I think the answer for pretty much everybody here is that they didn't base their mech on a mech that already exists.
Yeah, right.
So let's split it between what's your favorite mech thing, and then what character or license or whatever inspired your choices.
So my most experience with mechs, as far as you've got your giant Gundam animes. But the only mech game I ever played was in the 90s, and that was Mech Warrior. So anything that I know about, piloting mechs or anything like that comes from that. That being said, the art in the Lancer book is really cool. And that is stuff that you don't typically see in other, giant robot type programs. And so that really is a really cool kind of jumping off point for that. For me, it was, okay, what is my code name? And from there, that is what kind of prompted my mech to look the way it looks. But anything, because it's so open and you can do anything you want within limits, because you can do anything you want with it. The field is open. When we played this game previously, I had like a samurai mech that would, was big and round and could move through things. Brian, what about you?
Well, my main idea of making my characters, I really wanted to be strongly a support guy.
Mm-hmm.
Largely because it was kind of determined early on that I'd be the one from the Union. So I really wanted to try to steer away from being the main character as much as I could.
Sure.
So I just really was trying to take everything I could to enhance other people's capabilities or, let them hit more often. So that's largely my concept.
What about you, Brian?
Rob.
Oh, Rob. Sorry.
Favorite mecha stuff? I've been playing a ton of the Gundam TCG lately.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. But I think my favorite mecha series is actually Gurren Lagann at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the few I've returned to more than once. Throwing universes around as a weapon at the end game is the exact kind of absurd that I want from Super Robot Mecha.
I would say combining mechs is kind of a favorite trope of mine, and I did kind of consider being, a goblin or whatever to kind of do that, but or to get the mule chassis,
the mule chassis is an interesting one. I know who played that chassis in the previous when we were all doing those Sunday games.
I don't think anybody had a mule harness in the last one. No Lancaster players.
Oh, I thought there was. Okay. All right. So Ryan R says, will Lancer be a long series or short?
Long.
Very good. Which part do you like playing more in Lancer, mech or pilot mode? We haven't really done too much pilot mode stuff.
We haven't done a lot of pilot stuff. We, as Steven mentioned, we used to play a Sunday game that I called Lancer Academy, specifically to teach other people and me how to game master the game, other people how to play the game. And because Lancer is very crunchy on the mech side, the pilot stuff for that game was very quick. And in this game, since we jump right into the mechs and we haven't gotten to a lot of downtime, they haven't done a lot of pilot stuff either.
Yeah.
They will, but they haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Okay, so Drumsticks number 1 fan asks, is it much harder to find stopping points in Lancer? So if you have been listening to if you've been listening to all of the Lancer episodes that we have so far, and especially going back into Punch All Nazis, we did not, and even with Brian's Monster Wrangler game, we have moved to not splitting up combat. And the main reason is, for me, it's easier. I mean, it would be easier to split those up into parts. But one thing that I have found through stats and feedback from people is that they don't like that. They don't like that. Yeah, they don't like 5 weeks of combat. Although there are other real play podcasts out there that I know do split up their battle stuff, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. My goal was always to try to make the episodes, an hour and a half length tops. But, with Lancer, the battles, are taking a long time. But I don't want to break those up. I don't want, one battle to last 3 episodes just so we can stretch things out. I'd rather everybody be able to listen to a battle from start to finish, even if it takes them a couple of weeks to do it, then go from there. As far as other stopping points go, it's always story driven, right? You either get to a point about an hour,
Yeah.
hour and a half in, and you find something, or if you are somebody that is used to storytelling, you know that every chapter has to kind of end with a bit of a cliffhanger so that people keep reading. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to where our stopping points in any of our critical hit games. It's where is that natural break point wherever either everybody's completed something and there's a long sigh, ha, we did it, or oh my gosh, something just burst into the room and we all have to take care of it immediately. Find out next time what it is. So that's kind of my philosophy. Baldrag says a follow up. With it being the end of the year, what has been everyone's favorite and worst gaming experience for 2025? Rob, do you have I'm just, it says gaming experience, so I don't think that this necessarily means role-playing games, and also not necessarily anything having to do with critical hit.
Was that favorite/worst?
It says favorite and worst.
And worst. Okay. I didn't hear the end.
Yeah.
Favorite
Yeah,
worst.
what's your favorite worst gaming experience, Rob?
I'm like,
What's your favorite, worst, most happy, most sad?
What can't you not do the most?
I think my favorite gaming experience this year is going to actually go back to the Gundam TCG. I went to the Pasadena Regional on a whim. Like, I didn't get in when it first went up. They sell out like almost instantaneously, and it went up at a time I would normally be sleeping, so I just didn't get in. A couple of my friends did, so I decided to head out with them because I didn't have to work that day anyways. I got in on the last chance lottery at the event, and I went 7-3, placing 54th out of 800 people.
Wow, really cool. Did you get any prizes or a prize above 100?
Yeah, I've sold off. It was just extra promo cards, but the Bandai TCG promo cards, so like Gundam and One Piece and Dragon Ball and Digimon. Any of the promo cards from regionals are worth, like, the cheapest promo cards are in the 20 to 30 range.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got some good hits and sold off 3 or 4 of them for 150, 200. Like, I made money from that trip.
Yeah, that's good. What about the worst?
This is going to I'm going to make Brian feel a little bad, but the tournament during Monster Wrangler, everything felt like it was designed explicitly to. All of the fights that Toby had felt explicitly designed to just stomp him into the ground, and like I had 0 chance of winning.
Yeah, we talked about that after the in the wrap up, right? That when we got to the final big brawl, that's when it felt like we all understood how everything unlocked and how we can combo with one another. Mm-hmm. That was actually a really fun that final big battle. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed 95% of Monster Wrangler. It was just the tournament fights. Like, the characters thinking it was trying to be the champ and going all out and being the best, and like does worse than Ash at anything.
I mean, it did take Ash like 17 years to win.
He also
to
went
become
to
a champion,
like semifinals or quarterfinals on every single championship he did before that.
Yeah.
You got room to grow.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones where like this fight is explicitly designed so I can't win it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't specifically designed in such a way.
You were supposed to win, Rob. You were supposed to win.
Well, it was supposed to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some, like, the thing about Monster Wrangler is that there's different matchups. There's some matchups that are like very bad, and I think because Rob specifically went with plants, and like the more I look at them, like most plants are like tanks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they soak up damage, but they don't deal a lot of damage. So, and they have ways of like attracting attacks or making it difficult to move away from them, which doesn't matter on a 1v1 fight. So I've gone back and like try to figure out what all happened, and I think it's really that. It's just that like it really so happens that like the fern key and the pumpkin are both like kind of like very similar types of monsters, and like they were just not good matchups for the monsters that they happened to go up against.
Yeah. Brian, what is your favorite worst gaming experience?
Well, I mean, it's kind of more of a run on from the end of last year, but I feel like my wife actually discovering that she actually enjoys playing Magic.
Oh yeah,
It's cool because hey, now that I got someone I can relatively play with, and I bought a whole box of Jumpstart so we could just crack that out when we went and play a bit, and it's fun.
Yeah. What's the worst?
Probably not being able to.
Having to buy all those cards.
Well, yes, there's that, or not being able to because
that's true too.
In a financial crunch, but just not being able to play as much as I'd like to more than anything. Just haven't really found a group locally and can't get to Wichita all that often as much as I'd like to. And but hey, we're kind of, with my wife's new job, we're talking to the manager there, hoping to get like a community game night going, so maybe we can get some avenues that way.
Ah, cool. Rodrigo, what about you? What's been your favorite and worst gaming experience this past year?
My favorite is definitely getting this game underway. Like, we just finished the first sort of
major mission,
basic arc, like the first mission, and landing that bird felt pretty good. Because like there's a lot of setup involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then my worst favorite one definitely was Magic the Gathering's Through the Omen Paths like fiasco.
Oh yeah, the whole how do you adapt the Marvel stuff into regular play?
Yeah, it's just like they didn't have the rights to Spider-Man, but they did Spider-Man anyway, but they couldn't do it online. It's rare to see something like this happen. And in a game that's as established as Magic the Gathering, you know that this is going to have like ongoing consequences, repercussions that we don't even know yet. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm always very keenly watching that space to see what happens.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
I am kind of with Brian in that I don't get to play games a lot, but a couple of things that have happened in 2025 is Dr. Brad Will has come over and we've sat down to play Cthulhu Death May Die, and that's always a lot of fun to just lose to an elder god eating your face off when you're only turn 2 into the game. But Brad has been painting all of his minis, and they're fantastic. They add a lot to the game, so that's been fun. I think the worst gaming experience, though, has to do with Cthulhu Death May Die and Zombicide and DC / Marvel United, in that Cool Mini or Not has basically gone belly up, and they've had to sell everything. Now, fortunately, Asmodee and specifically Fantasy Flight have picked up Cthulhu Death May Die, and I don't remember if they also picked up DC United or the Marvel United and the upcoming DC United campaigns. But, all of those properties that were on Kickstarter have been picked up, but that also means that those release dates are going to be delayed even more, and that's kind of bad for me. It's been such a bad experience with Cool Mini or Not over the last couple of campaigns that they've done. I've kind of sworn off funding Kickstarter projects completely since the end of 2024. Well, it's not. I mean, Cool Mini or Not. I mean, they made $1 billion off of each of their campaigns, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's this thing, and now we're delayed, and I know we said we were going to deliver in the first quarter of 2025. Now it's going to be the third quarter of 2025, and now we're bankrupt, and now we're selling everything to someone else, and now someone else is picking it up, and they're saying, hey, fourth quarter of 2026, and it's like, you people have had my money for 3 years before I see any fulfillment of that. And I understand that there's always problems. There's other people that I'm very upset at who I've given hundreds of dollars to, and they've never fulfilled. And I think that while I appreciate what Kickstarter is doing, I've lost a lot of faith because of Cool Mini or Not in funding Kickstarter projects. And that's kind of sad because there's a lot of indie people like Lancer and like the one that we were talking about before, the Twilight Sword, and others that, probably really rely on Kickstarters to get those games off the ground. And when we are in a time period where, you've talked about it, Rodrigo, there's a bunch of other people online that have been talking about it for about a year now. D&D is just collapsing in on itself, and people are looking for other RPG games to play. And that would be the perfect time to go to Kickstarter. But leave a bad taste in my mouth. Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me 20 times, then that's also shame on me. So, that's probably the worst thing for 2025 for me.
Yeah, on that note, I'm still pretty bummed about Greater Than Games, more or less, going away.
Yeah, it's a mess. And I think Cool Mini or Not had some issues, a couple of years ago. People kind of said, hey, are they just, creating Kickstarters to fund the Kickstarter that they just funded kind of thing?
Mm.
But we're seeing more and more companies kind of collapsing like that. And
it's a lot of stuff, right? It's during and after lockout, there was this huge boom in gaming.
Yeah, because everyone was
all that stuff's been slowly drying up.
Yep.
And now we're in like desert conditions.
Yeah, I feel bad for Greater Than Games because they were coming out with the new Sentinels of the Multiverse electronic version from Handelabra, and that's been put on hold because of this whole screw up with that too. So boo, I say. Maybe this next question from Jarmo will cheer us up. While doing Critical Hit as long as you have, how do you find managing the schedule has changed, if it has? I've also been playing TTRPGs for more than 30 years with more or less the same group of friends and feel like finding time for regular sessions have become more and more difficult over the last 5 years or so. I know many things affect this, work, family, other hobbies, etc. But overall, I feel the biggest thing is that in my mid-40s, I don't have the same energy to play games on weekday evenings after work as I did in my mid-20s, and weekends are harder scheduling than before. So everybody who plays gets paid. So it's kind of a job to be here on this day if you want to play and if you guys want to make a podcast. So it's kind of like a job. That being said, there have been, since all of these youngins, Rob and Brian and Alex, have graduated from college, it is a lot harder to schedule because all these guys have to get jobs. It was a lot easier when it was just basically Rodrigo's schedule that we had to work around. But with, 5 people's schedules that we have to work around, I would say it's a little bit harder. I don't know if the energy I don't know if there's people that sit there and go, I got to go play a game.
I don't think the energy, I don't think is a problem because we're gamers. It's like, I have to do my job. It's like, I have to pay bills. It's like gaming. I'm there, right? It's like, that's actually what energizes us a lot of the time. So, and also, I don't know about these two guys, but for me, I schedule my schedule around the podcast that I do for Major Spoilers. So I have Tuesday and Wednesday off. So I don't do anything too strenuous on Wednesday when we record.
Yeah. I think, it's funny because my youngest son, I'll pick him up from school and he's like, oh, I'm so tired. And then his phone will beep and he's like, hey, Dad, I'm going to go do Pokemon Go with my friends. And he's like suddenly full of energy. So I think a lot of gamers are that way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Let's see. Matt Speaks Words says, how does your approach to planning a game differ between a home game and a game for the podcast? Do you get pre-game nerves more when you are recording? Brian?
Yeah, I'd say definitely I get more nerves. I don't know. I just have to feel like I tend to have to try to get a bit stronger outline as to what I'm going to run. Whereas, at home games, I feel like it's a lot easier just to wing it a bit more.
Yeah, I think because you're playing for your friends, and your friends don't care if you screw something up or make a mistake or something. But when it's recorded and sent out to millions of people around the world, somebody's going to notice and someone's going to get, freaked out. I don't know if I had any pregame nerves when I did Punch All Nazis. I know I over-prepared for the first, couple of episodes. You guys can go and listen to the GM Roundtable with Brad about that. Rodrigo, what about you?
My preparation for home games and Critical Hit doesn't vary too much. As those of you who have played with me on home games know, I still go all out for my home games.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were doing Lancer Academy, like everybody had minis and all of the enemies had their own specific minis with backstory, right? So no, I basically just go as hard as possible at all times. As far as pre-game nerves, also they're the same, but as a way to reach out to people, I actually had some really bad anxiety. A few years ago, I started having like really bad panic attacks. And unfortunately, they were kind of centered around like any strong emotion. So again, one of the things that I like doing the most is playing role-playing games. So I would get ready to run like my Exalted game, and I would start having like a really bad panic attack.
Mm.
So I kind of had to stop running games for a while. I'm better now, but sometimes there's a bit of a flare up, and it's something that happens, and it's now pretty much under control. But yeah, it's something that used to happen to me all the time.
Mm-hmm. Rob, do you have any thoughts?
I kind of approached running for the audience versus running private games about the same, which is usually an F it, I'm a wing it anyways response.
Yeah.
Yeah. I leaned a little too much more on improv to worry about anxiety. If I wasn't anxious, then something was going to be a problem anyways.
I think there is maybe a bit of a difference too, in that we're sitting here recording this and we're just having a conversation, or it's the 5 or 6 of us playing a game and we're just all playing a game together, and it is being recorded. So we are keeping some of those things, but I don't ever think that there are, tens of thousands of people listening while I'm recording. Do you guys get into that mode or not? Do you sit there, Brian, and say, oh my gosh, there's going to be 10,000 people listening to this thing that I just said?
I don't know if it's necessarily that. It's just, I don't know. I just, mainly I tend to worry about...
Rodrigo's going to judge me.
Yes, that's the big one, right?
It's just more just not being able to like have the momentum to figure out what I'm going to say next is usually my biggest concern.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing about editing. So
yeah.
Ryan R says, and this was going to be directed to you, Brian, since we were just talking about this.
Right.
What systems have not been done yet that you would like to do after Lancers?
Well, I mean, this might be something to ask again when we're closer to at the end of Lancer, because goodness knows I could look at maybe 100 systems, at least cursory, by the time that happens. But right now, I mean,
what's the one you're all excited about? And you were like, hey guys, can we do this?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just been talking about floating, maybe doing Magical Land of Yeld, if people would be willing to do like a rotating Game Master game. That could be an option. I've also recently been looking at Trespasser, which is kind of a throwback to 2 very different versions of Dungeons and Dragons, 4th edition and like basic Dungeons and Dragons, where you have to really track your rations and your torches. And it really seems to combine those elements in an interesting way. So if that's still in my forefront by the time we end there, that might be an option. Yeah, who knows? I vaguely recently been kind of looking at, I guess I've been kind of in a cyberpunk mood, because I've also been looking at Cyberpunk Red, but Shadowrun I haven't looked at in years, and I've kind of been curious what's happening with it currently, so might start reading that, who knows.
I was looking, because Brad had pitched me on something a while ago, and it's, I think, by the same people that did Kingdom Death Monster. Not Kingdom Death Monster. Is that it? Yeah, Kingdom Death Monster. It's a follow-up game to that he was wanting to do. And I was like,
good. That's going to be so dark.
yeah, I was like, I don't know. That seems pretty dark, Brad. And he's like, yeah, you're probably right. So, Christopher asks, when planning campaigns, do you prefer to have a length in mind or just keep going till you're done approach? Rodrigo?
I guess it's a little bit of both. If you look at something like the Void Saga is an enormous campaign, but we broke it up into seasons, right? So it's like, here's a story that I want to tell this season, and it kind of goes for as long as it goes to get to the other side of it. But generally, we've learned a lot since just from playing the and recording the Void Saga.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a little bit easier now for us to be like, okay, well, I'm going to run this, and it's going to be a couple of years real time of running this game. And, there's going to be however many episodes. Like, it's not like an exact science, but we pretty much know, especially as things start to wind down, is like, okay, well, we probably have these many left or whatever. So yeah, we just kind of plan arcs, definitely. Sometimes just happens to an arc is just an entire campaign. Sometimes smaller arcs within a campaign.
With Punch All Nazis, I kind of knew beginning, middle, and end of what I wanted to happen. And so I was like, this will probably be like 6 months. But then you get into it and it's like, hey, everybody wants to spend an entire episode changing clothes and going shopping. So there's a whole, there's an episode where that's not, part of what you had planned. And so what starts out as 6 months turns into 2 years or something like that. With some of the shorter campaigns, I have asked, hey, can you plan for 12 sessions? That means 12 sit down at the table and play games sessions, with the idea in mind that those are going to be broken up into 2 episodes. Well, we don't do, as I mentioned earlier, we don't do fights in multiple episodes anymore. But, I think that means that we end up with some of the quote unquote shorter games. How long did Monster Wrangler run, Brian? Where it's like 25 to 30 episodes. So yeah, that's kind of the way I approach. Hey, if you've got something, can you do something that's this long? I mean, I'm not wanting to throw it on Brian going, hey, Brian, Punch All Nazis is almost over. We'll probably be done in 2 weeks. Can you do a 6-year Monster Wrangler campaign starting then? It's not quite like that. But at the same time, as we were getting closer to the end of Punch All Nazis, I was letting Rodrigo know, hey, are you ready for Lancer? And he was like, no, not yet. Almost there. And then that's when it's like, hey, Brian, can you fill in for this time period? So I don't know, Brian, if you have anything to share on that.
Yeah, I feel like at least the games I've ran, it's just been kind of filling it out. No real specific time frame. Just kind of seeing.
I know there has been a push. Several people have asked us, hey, Monster Wrangler is great, but do you guys think you'll ever do one of those done in one sessions where it's like you guys sit down one night, but you get 2 or 3 episodes out of it, like we did with the Ghostbusters one that we did, or the Fiasco, or those kind of games. And yeah, we could do those. But the problem is, and this is it, maybe going back to the scheduling issue. Usually Brian is really a good GM, right? He's able, because he knows all these different systems and he's familiar with them. It's pretty easy to say, hey, Brian, 2 weeks from now, can we run this Fiasco game? Or do you have a game that we could do in one session? Because we know so-and-so is going to be out. But a lot of times, because there are times where we do have to cancel episodes at the very last minute, like somebody's not feeling well, or somebody has to be, taken to the hospital, or, some stupid meeting has come up. That we don't really have time, where it's literally an hour before, where you can't just go to somebody and say, hey, run a game for us. Because I don't think that that's fair. And I don't know if that would make good listening for someone to just stumble in and say, well, I kind of think I know this game. How about we try it? Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if that answers Christopher's question, but there you go. I think this is also Christopher. Which game mechanics have felt the most unintuitive to you? Rob, you want to answer that one? You want to start off on that?
Most unintuitive?
Yeah. Or least intuitive. How about that? Instead of the most unintuitive, the least intuitive. Is there a system that you just really couldn't get the hang of because of something like that?
There's been a couple of systems that I haven't enjoyed as much, but like those were from so long ago at this point that I don't remember what they were offhand.
Okay. Yeah.
I think most recently, one of my coworkers has started a Rifts game for us, which is a system that I've avoided for a long time for what became very obvious reasons once I started actually doing character creation. And
like
that
using the actual Palladium system, not the Savage Worlds version.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Classic.
Has been playing it since she was a kid, which is less time than I've been playing D&D. So
I mean, again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Another Strangeness, which is that system, is like a real formative game of mine. But there's a reason why I look at Mutants into Now instead these days.
Did get to use that book for my character.
Oh, good.
But like,
oh, good.
There's the system. The system is very clearly of its time.
Yes,
and is trying to do. I feel like it's trying to do too much to figure out what it wants to actually do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it wants to be everything.
Yeah.
At least you're not having to worry about mega damage if you're not actually making a character out of the Rifts book.
I didn't. I got to play a mutant with a class.
Okay. So,
but one of my coworkers built they called it a Void Dragon, is what it's officially called, which does touch upon mega damage with some of the abilities it can eventually get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, what about you?
I would say least intuitive. Unfortunately, I don't think I quite gelled with like Powered by the Apocalypse as well as I was kind of hoping to when we did Urban Shadows.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I like that. I mean, there were some times I was like, that seems a little odd, but I like that one. Rodrigo, what about you?
I guess for me, I had a tough time at first with Achtung Cthulhu's systems.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to tell where the game wanted us to live. Like,
well, the game didn't want you to live. The game wanted you to die.
Yeah, and that's part of the issue, is that some stuff seemed pretty easy to do. Some stuff seemed extremely difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, towards the end, I think we basically worked out a pretty cheesy, like 3 to 4 player like combo.
Yeah, combos.
To, like, actually start landing things.
Yeah.
And even then, I was like, "Is this what the game is trying to get us to do?"
I don't think so. I think it really wanted you to lose, and the reason why I chose, and I talked about this before, the reason why I wanted to do Achtung Cthulhu as opposed to Call of Cthulhu is just a 2D20 system with your modifier. And I thought, oh, this will be real easy to do. And then it was just like, well, this is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. And so I don't know if any of the other 2D20 systems that Modiphius puts out, they've got the Fallout, Star Trek, Conan, I forget who else, properties.
Yeah,
if they've cleaned up those rules or not. Because I want to say Achtung Cthulhu may have been their first one in that 2D20 system.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, from what I've seen, I don't know about cleaned up. I mean, also the one I've looked at the most is the Fallout one, which kind of fittingly tends to be weirdly the buggiest.
Really? Because that's the most. That's the most recent version.
Yeah, but it definitely has its own idiosyncrasies, and I've been looking at it pretty hard since they're about to release a campaign setting set in the Mojave, so I'm kind of wanting to run that for my wife and some friends this next year. So,
okay,
but
Mojave, that's like next door.
Yeah. There's a reason why New Vegas is, there.
Christopher asks if you can invite anyone to join as a guest player for a campaign, who would it be? I seriously tried. Well, not tried. I seriously thought about trying to get, what's his name, who played all of the Reanimator actor.
The one that actually played Herbert West?
Jeffrey Combs, yeah. I seriously wanted to get Jeffrey Combs to come in and just be Herbert West whenever they finally encountered Herbert West. But then I was like, that's not going to work because he's going to want money, and he's not going to want to do this for multiple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a big commitment.
And want to get just a cameo.
Yeah, I thought about that too. That would have been, I think, really cool because I wouldn't have said anything to anybody until Herbert West shows up, and then it was Jeffrey Combs. But yeah, that fizzled out pretty quickly just because I knew he probably wouldn't have the interest or time. I mean, he might have, but I just figured that most working actors are too busy to lower themselves to be on our podcast. They're too busy trying to get on a YouTube podcast.
Yeah.
Which are not even podcasts.
Yes.
Rob, what about you? Who would you want as a guest player?
Oh,
good question.
It's never something I've actually really thought about. Like, I feel like what you were suggesting there for Herbert West would probably be the best like scenario of like get a stunt casting essentially for something, but I don't know like what specifically I would want to do.
Yeah, or I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a celebrity. It could just be, I want Winston Churchill to play in my Fallout game.
Right.
That would be cool.
How much it would have been to get the Doofenshmirtz voice actor.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we do have an in with a couple of people that I know, so
yeah,
that would have been interesting. Rodrigo?
I would definitely want to get somebody who is possibly probably not very tied to role playing games.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who would be like a surprising person to have? Like Michelle Obama?
Yeah. Kaylee Cuoco?
Yeah. Some athlete.
You gotta be careful because some of those athletes are really into RPGs as I found out. Like
true, but somebody. Honestly, the optimal thing would be to get someone who is not known for it, but is actually into it, right?
Yeah,
just like
Mr. Taylor Swift, for example.
Yeah, if we find out that him or LeBron James or whoever is into role playing games, or like go play a role playing game, LeBron James.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Brian,
it's like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna be like, listen, you can listen, mystery celebrity, you can come on our game, we can play Dungeons and Dragons, and you can diss Drake the whole time.
Oh my god.
That'd be great.
Or even better, those are the only monsters that we encounter are Drakes.
Yeah, our Drakes. Nice.
Cosmo is a marketable plush says, what's the most challenging system you have all either run or played? Sounds like Rift is the one.
I'm gonna throw this one out there for Cosmo. Beacon is number 2. Beacon is the one we were playing. Whichever one I'm playing with Cosmo is number 2.
Do you have a do you go in the initiative depending on the action you're taking?
Yes.
Beacon.
That's Beacon.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the one that we played with Brad, where we were flipping our early late tokens?
Oh, that is Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Yeah, that one. I don't know if that was challenging so much as I think the game system had a lot of holes in it. Mainly because that one time Robin was just like, "I'm going to use my wand and snatch this thing," and you could just see Brad's face just deflate because he's like had this whole thing planned out, and she's like, "No, I'm just going to do this." And mechanically in the game, that was allowed, but that was also seemed to be a hole in both the system and maybe the GM not foreseeing that your players are devious little monsters.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's more the latter. I mean, I feel like that's just kind of more the nature of like D20 based fantasy games that have an extensive spell list that you can just pull out weird stuff like that.
Any others? Do you guys have any other challenging systems?
I mean, I played a Shadowrun game for a while, and that system is just very crunchy. If you think that literally any game you've ever played, except possibly Rifts, has complicated character creation, if you play weirdly the non-magical side of Shadowrun, it's going to be 10 times more complicated. You're going to be spend so much time buying gear, calculating your essence, and doing all that stuff. The magic stuff is complicated too. Or if you play a hacker where you basically have to run a whole new system, like an additional system for running digital encounters or whatever, it's hard to beat that. Definitely the games that I've played, Shadowrun is very complicated. Once you're actually there and running it, and if you know what your character is about, it eases up a little bit, but it still has a lot of stuff going on. Like, if you like when you throw a grenade, you have to then
The chunky salsa
first roll the grenade, then figure out if it rolls, and then if it something happens, it splashes in different directions, so you have to roll for that. It can get pretty complex.
I played that Shadowrun video game, the ones that they have. I enjoy those. And it was
the Dragonfall?
It was the...
Was it a top-down thing where you move multiple characters?
Yeah, it was
that's probably
isometric,
Dragonfall.
stuff. Because there's three different versions of that game that are out there. But
that game has one of the best backstories for a character that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and so I was like, ooh, this is tempting me to want to play the Shadowrun RPG. And then I can't remember if it was Texura or Christopher Rondo or somebody else that was like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And it's like, oh no, this doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah, the game definitely simplifies making a character.
Yeah.
Or the video game does, yeah.
Yeah. Gian Stone Gargoyle says, do you prefer campaign settings in alternate timelines or multiverse, but still Earth, or a completely separate universe?
Prefer is not how I would put it.
Yeah. Because I think each game dictates its own thing.
As far as how difficult it is for me personally to run it, easiest is a brand new world.
Yeah.
It seriously is easier for me to create an entire universe than it is for me to ever have to be I guess what you're doing is illegal, so a cop stops you. Hang on, let me look at the laws in that state.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know a lot of practical real world things, especially because if you're a game master, as the engine of the game, you have to do stuff like that, right? You have to role play and talk to players about stuff like that. And it's because this is verifiable stuff, or stuff that the players might already know anyway, right? It's they're like, oh, they offer you, there's oh, it's a fixed mortgage. It's God, I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. As opposed to some other type of mortgage, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's better than a variable. So,
well, there you go.
So with Punch Out Nazis, it's somewhat an alternate timeline, mainly because you've got Cthulhuoid monsters. But also, I was trying to stick with the timeline of what was going on in that year. And so that led to me having to go and double check things so what interesting things were happening? And so that whole arc with Clark Gable was based on a real event, right? Clark Gable ended up becoming one of Hitler's on Hitler's top hit list. Him, the Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, and somebody else. Charlie
Chaplin.
Yeah. And so it's just that was a fascinating rabbit hole to dive down. And then also when we went to Milano, it was there's this whole history of glass. Oh, it just so happens that the glass orb is this thing. Yeah. And then you go into the museum and all these things which are based on these real things. So years, about a year or so ago, I was talking about, hey, having this idea of this and putting it into a game and knowing these things can kind of flesh out the world. And afterwards, a student came up to me after class and he was like, yeah, I've been to that museum. And I was like, oh, see, that's cool. So that adds to that stuff. But it is a lot harder because, if you do screw up, you do have people that write in and say, actuallys.
Well, so it's open in its own way. I remember we idiots got stuck in Russia.
Yeah.
And we were well, I forget now which country it was. It's not Denmark, is it? There's a country that shares a sea.
Finland.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, let's just go to Finland. And it's like, okay, I guess we're going to Finland. And like now Steven has to like figure out what we're going to do in Finland.
Yeah.
This is also kind of true if you run something like Star Wars and somebody's like, well, I want to go to like the planet Kintan. It's like, freaking let me pull up Wikipedia here because you have a hyperdrive, so you can. So, like universes that are that fleshed out, like the real world, are actually a lot of work. Also, let me throw in here, Steven, you do not get enough flowers for like Punch All Nazis. Like you did a lot of work. Like I could tell that so much work went into that.
Yeah, go listen to the GM Roundtable when you guys totally blew up all my plans and I just ran for an hour. Rob, alternate timeline, multiverse, or separate universe?
Like separate multiverse for many of the same reasons why Rodrigo was saying. Is like I don't need to know. Like,
yeah, this is why you guys don't run stuff in like Forgotten Realms or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons
part
why.
Of it, yeah,
like that's someone else's sandbox. There's definitely going to be someone, probably Brian, who knows way more about it than I do. Probably also Rodrigo and Matthew. I don't like Forgotten Realms, but almost any setting that's not like something that's just coming from me only, yeah, there's going to be someone who's probably going to have more information on it. And like, well, that doesn't help when I'm trying to actually be the person or be the universe.
Yeah. Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely prefer, unique worlds of my own creation, or at least ones that haven't been largely established. Again, for pretty much the reasons like Rob had said, like if other people know more, then that's just it becomes the whole thing. Now, I feel like in this group, it wouldn't be so much of an issue because I feel like people would mostly just roll with the inconsistencies.
Yeah, sure.
But
yeah. I mean, I definitely have contacted game masters like off the table or whatever and been like, hey, so normally it's like this. Is it going to be different here? And all the time they're like, oh, I didn't know about that. I was like, okay, don't worry about it. We'll just say that thing about that setting that I know about doesn't exist. I do actually really want to run a real world setting at some point. Again, this is, for me, it's like a level of difficulty, right? So it would be harder, but imagine how much editing time Steven would save if Matthew was just allowed to do his references in character.
Yeah.
Right? If we just lived in the real world, right? And he just was just able to reference whatever he wanted to reference, we'd be like, oh, yeah.
I mean,
that doesn't even need to be edited out.
I'd still have to be doing all the editing. I mean, Matthew's been talking this entire time and all this editing.
All right.
Go ahead, Brian.
I've been considering, Break as a potential game that I could run, and if so, I was going to strongly suggest Matthew be a dimensional stray, so he can be from this world in that world.
Sure.
Although I did pitch at one point, Bubble Gumshoe, and I was like, but I want you guys to play yourselves when you were in middle school or whatever. And Matthew was firmly no way in heck am I going to do that. So I don't know.
I can't remember that far.
Yeah, well, apparently it was traumatizing enough for him that he didn't want to.
Yeah, some people, that is
middle school. Yeah,
that is something that as your like important PSA, like as you're playing role playing games, you will find that some people have things about something that you find completely innocuous, but it's like a big deal for them, right? If you're like, hey, before you get started, what was life with your parents like? Right? It's like, oh Lord, like. For some people, they'll just give you a really straightforward answer. For some people, you're going to have to like drag them down from like the
ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling. So
I'm sorry.
Great. Some great questions. Some great questions there, everybody. That's where we're going to wrap it up this time. We'll be back with another mailbag episode soon. But until then, make sure you check out the Discord server. Jump in there. Ask questions. I'll be watching out for them. Oftentimes, everybody will check in and answer questions like some of the questions that we had earlier about Lancer. Rodrigo had already answered in the Discord server, but I thought for the greater audience, hey, hear those answers again. So keep those questions coming. Podcast at majorspoilers.com, or like I said, in the Discord server. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2025 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.